get started on another late live stream. Oh yeah. I'm gonna have a relatively short one this time. Probably until like 10:30 or 11 actually. 11 sounds about right. 11:30, between 11 and 11:30 or 12:30 or 12. We'll see. We'll see. We'll play it by ear. All right. All right. So, hope everyone's doing good. Ooh, okay, let me share my information real quick. YouTube. I'll go away, pop up. Hi. Just sharing my information. We'll get started. Wait for some people to join up. Happy Monday. Hope you're having a good day. Hope it's all copacetic. All right. Just shook a tower. And we are getting started here. Oops. Daggone it. No, I don't want to print that image. There we go. Go away. Okay. Hey. How's it going? I'll share my information and we'll get started, okay? Just gonna pin it. Hi. Hi, Tina. Hi, I'm new. What are you all about? Hi there. So welcome to my channel. Here we discuss things like habits, changing our habits for the better, addiction. I still have some bad habits, you know, but I was a heroin addict for 6 years, and I struggled with alcohol when trying to quit that. And, you know, I've dealt with loss. We talk about how to deal with that. What are the best approaches when recovering early on? Like what activities help? What are good distractions? Words of advice. We talk about anything and everything under the sun too. Anything that I care about, like art. I sell paintings every now and then. I always accept commissions, which is one of the reasons why I share this information here. We talk about video games, we talk about cooking, we talk about things I'm interested in, and we talk about addiction. I read the comments and answer questions and all that jazz. And all that jazz. I'm gonna rouge my knees and roll my stockings down. And all that jazz. Okay. Instagram's where you can find a lot of my artwork. If you'd like to check that out, feel free. Katrina.art. Start the car, no a booty spot where the gin is cold but the piano's hot. It's just a noisy hall where there's a nightly brawl and all that jazz. Emerald_wing_13473 is my Discord. And my X account at _ANNEOQO. Hey, Shando. That's my dog. Alrighty. And I will pin that. Oh my gosh. Stop it. There we go. Hi, Falco. Hi, Wendy. Super's anime just stay fully off the internet, man. That's key for you. Uh-oh. Whoa, I'm addicted to corn. Got any advice? Well, I've never cared for that. I've never been into that sort of thing. It's just never appealed to me. I've had many unhealthy addictions. That's not one of them. So I'm sorry if I can't really relate to that. But I would say if my best guesstimate for like the best approach would be out of sight, out of mind. Try to avoid TV. Try to avoid screens for God, that's almost impossible these days. Me I might consider if I'm able to, because I know it's hard if you got work or you're all kind of caught up in everything else. Get out into nature, take a vacation from everything. Take a vacation from people, take a vacation from screens, take a vacation from everything. You know, go to the beach, set up a tent with your dog. Oh, you know, dogs help. My dog helps me, keeps me preoccupied, gives me someone to care for. I'm beholden to him, so I'm not gonna go off and selfishly harm myself when I'm beholden to my dog, and I'm beholden to the people who care about me too. If it's making you unhappy and it's destroying your relationships, I would say get as far away from it as possible, if possible. But I don't have experience with that particular addiction, so I don't know. There may be some good counselors for that. Counselors helped me when I was dealing with heroin addiction. You know, I don't think I could have made it without a good counselor. Other women are thankful you cut your hair off. Less competition. Wow, you're nasty. So I guess, no one would ever want to date Dolores O'Riordan from the Cranberries. No one would ever want to date Halle Berry when she cut her hair. No one would ever want to date Winona Ryder, who's had her hair short like in Girl Interrupted her practically her entire life. No one's ever going to want to date Demi Moore. No one's ever going to want to date... who's another one with short hair? Dear Lord, just about every one of them has had short hair at some point or another. I don't really give a singular fuck what you think of me. I do what I want, and if that fucking triggers you, that makes me even happier. I don't look like Jamie Lee Curtis. And she's not the only one with short hair. It's so cringe and stupid when people draw those comparisons. It really is. It really is, because so many women have short hair and can pull it off. And you are probably jealous because I pull it off. Whereas you're a little man with a thumb-shaped head and you can't pull off anything. Wouldn't surprise me. It's always the type. It's always the same types. Going online, criticizing random strangers. Thumb-shaped head, oh, no doubt these guys probably have thumb-shaped heads. In fact, they can't even hide their ugliness with a beard, because everyone can tell. Just, even if they wear a beard, it looks like it, no matter how well groomed your beard is, it always looks like a neck beard. On steroids, by the way. You remind me of Evan Rachel Wood. Oh, I have no idea who that is, but I'm gonna look him up. You think Jason Momoa looks like a girl for having long hair? I mean, that's just the stupidest argument ever. Just goes to show how confused a lot of people are about what constitutes a gender. I'll tell you what does. I've got 2 X chromosomes. And if they were to dig my body up 1,000 years from now, they'd be able to determine that I'm a woman by the width of my pelvis. That's all they'd need. They wouldn't need anything. But according to these chodes, these fucking imbeciles, these smooth-brained morons, the only thing that would determine a woman, if you were to dig her up, would be if her long hair were intact. Stupid. Anywho, you know, I don't allow people like Wire Ghost. You know, you missed the hug heroin gave you. Wow. Wow. You see, guys? Don't let people like that get to you. He's gone. Which Tomb Raider do I like? I'm playing Shadow of the Tomb Raider now. And I won one of the bosses. Even went to the credits. I won that boss that, if you've played the game, the guy who tried to become a god at the end, and his skin became like just really, really, really white and light, light emanated from him. And I forget what place where I defeated him, but it went straight to, after I beat him, went straight to credits. And then after that, the game resumed, but with that mission completed, thrown off to the side. Yep, completed that mission. Now I get to continue the game and win more bosses, which is pretty cool. That's what I thought Cyberpunk would be like. But I love Cyberpunk. That was a good game. That's a good game. I won that one too. But I do like Shadow of the Tomb Raider more than Rise of the Tomb Raider so far. I'm really, really, really enjoying it. I played that today. It's fucking morons. So I guess Jason Momoa's hair is effeminate and means he likes men. That's what your logic pretty much indicates. Lots of straight women have short hair and can pull it off, and you're jealous because you can't pull off anything. Fucking smooth brain marsupial. Ah. Oh yeah, Evan Rachel Wood is pretty. Oh, she's familiar. She's familiar. That's not true, Hook's slogan. And I'm not woke, I'm a Trump supporter. I voted for Trump, FYI. But I don't care what you think. Most people think my hair looks great. I've had my hair like this most of my life because it's more comfortable. I can't stand the feeling of hair on the back of my neck. I shouldn't have to explain myself to anyone. You're disgusting. Oh, what's your weight now? Great, great. Now people are gonna ask me what my fucking weight is. I'm not telling you. I'm not telling you. I'm not here to fucking try to, trigger people or whatever, And except the trolls, man. I actually get a lot of pleasure out of triggering them. I just imagine them losing their shit and dropping shit and, not being able to contain their stupidity. Oh, good God. Well, K-Frog pretty much got it right. K-Frog got it right. Well, why would I want to tell you my weight? K-Frog got it right. I don't mind telling people my age. I don't mind telling people my height. But, a lot of people deal with eating disorders. And I don't know. It just makes me uncomfortable talking about that with people. People are strange when you're a stranger. People seem ugly when you're alone. I was never a crackhead, you ignorant fool. I was a heroin addict. And I'll bet you're one of those idiots who looks at mugshots in the paper where it has that, before and after difference. Here's John when he went to prison on Monday, and here he is on Tuesday looking 30, 40 years older. That's actually meth. Oftentimes they'll label it as heroin and get that confused. Heroin doesn't do that to you. It doesn't do that to you at all. But yeah, I love my hair. I think it looks the way it's cut, the way it's styled is very feminine, very Winona Ryder. I don't care what you think. You wouldn't be saying this to a man with long hair. You'd be saying, "Oh, you look like a sage or a wizard, dude. Oh, wow, dude. You look like a mage, dude. Oh my gosh, dude. You look like a Skyrim character, dude." Whereas, you're like, with me, it's just like, yeah, let's just try to defeminate. I guess it's a made-up term, but I can't think of the female equivalent of emasculate. That's what these guys like to do. They like to effeminate women online, make us feel less than. Well, guess what? Just to debunk a lot of these fucking lies, these claims by these very bitter, lonely little men. I'm not a feminist. I detest modern feminism for many reasons. I'm moderate/lean Republican. I voted for Trump. Doesn't mean I agree with everything he's done, but I voted for him. And he is the best option, in my opinion, still. And I think he's doing a good job in many areas. People like to say, "Oh, he cut child cancer funding." Well, guess what? Maybe the organization was flawed. Maybe he needs to dismantle it and reconstruct it, because so many of these systems which the Democrats have built are flawed. They're scams. They take money. They don't give anything back. But people, it sounds bad, so people are all like, "Oh my gosh, we got perfect emotional appeal here. We'll use that. We'll use that to discredit anything good Trump's done." That's just, people are full of it, man. And it doesn't faze me one bit. I really could care less. It's whatever. Be triggered, little kid. I don't know who she is, but I would have thought that she is a liberal. And her first sentence as soon as I came in, as well as had to hear, "Subscribe, I love her." Well, thank you. But yeah, it does kind of annoy me when people make assumptions out of the fucking clear blue simply because I have short hair. That's it makes me laugh. You're a liberal because you have short hair. Do you have any idea how fucking stupid you sound? So my hair, the length of my hair determines what my stances are and what goes on in my brain. Gotcha. Oh my gosh, looks like I need to go to school again because I don't know anything. I didn't know that. I didn't know that my hair had anything to do with what must be, like, what my views must be. Fucking stupid when people say that. But thank you, Life's a Cycle. I appreciate you. This is what the average transfer looks like in 2026, by the way. Yeah, damned good looking. Thank you. And if they don't like it, why are they watching? Because they like it. Exactly. Perfect pink. Exactly. It's pathetic. It's absolutely pathetic. Some people really do just look to rage. They look to get triggered. They, people are always looking to victimize themselves while also looking for any good reason, any good way to validate outrage. They want permission to constantly be triggered and outraged by everything. Gives them a little dopamine high in their bored little lives. And it's pathetic. What time did you start? Like 9:30, actually, not that long ago. So yeah, I'm Catholic. That's not why I'm conservative or lean conservative. It's completely separate. I was agnostic before I started, changing my views. I just started questioning why all this hatred, all this massive hatred is directed towards this one man who the Democrats used to love. Oprah used to love him. The View used to love him. As soon as came into power, they want him gone. They're afraid of being exposed. They all have dirt on them. And they know that Trump is a whistleblower. He was blowing the whistle on Epstein before it was ever mainstream. And people are, oh, he's a PDF file in the Epstein. He's in the Epstein files. Oh my God, he's in the Epstein files. Well, guess what? He's in the Epstein files because they wanted to blackmail him. They're discussing amongst themselves how they're gonna ruin Trump because he was exposing them. Oh my gosh! I don't believe you. Fucking stupid. Okay. Yeah, Trump. Yeah, exactly. Trump is the best option we have. He's gonna allow for better candidates to come through, like Marco Rubio or J.D. Vance. I think Marco Rubio would be the best option. I've thought that for a while. I think he sounds really good to me. Just the way he speaks, I like his stances, and yeah, we'll see. He also seems like a nice person. Someone who can actually get things done without all the... I mean, Trump's just got a lot of baggage, I like him, but there's an awful lot of drama and hatred just being kind of forced on us from the left. And you didn't see this type of thing from the right when Biden won, even though you had just a upsurge in crime because of illegal immigration. People are so fucking clueless because they can't seem to get that the reason for why the Democrats want illegal immigration, it's only so that they have more voters. All these people would vote for them. That's the only reason. They don't care about ethics. They don't care about, they come up with all the buzzwords, all the talking points to try to legitimize it. But it's all it's doing is endangering American people and depriving American people of housing and other resources, which they just give to these guys for free. Oh my gosh, and they don't bring up the word illegal. It's just so conveniently. It's always like, oh, they want to kick out all the migrants. No one ever said that. No one ever said they wanted to kick out the migrants. They're more than welcome. But if you come here illegally, then everyone else is going to think that they can come here illegally, including the criminals and all the gang grapers, the people graping women, which they don't care about. They could care less about the Epstein files unless it can implicate Trump. They just sweep that under the rug if it, the prospect of getting rid of Trump because of, oh, he's in the Epstein files. Unless that's, a thing that they think might be possible. They think it's possible to implicate Trump with these files, even though there's no proof that he was ever on that island or did anything with the trafficking or anything sinister in that regard. Epstein knew a ton of businessmen and socialites or businessmen and women and socialites and just rich people in general, celebrities, musicians, and just everybody with money, pretty much. Just because he associated with a few of with these people doesn't mean that those respective people are implicated in any crime on that island. That's just like saying that, oh, that I'm guilty for someone introducing me to a bad person. It's like, oh, Ann, have you ever met this person? Oh, no, I haven't. Hey, let's have a party tonight. Okay, we'll have a party all night, I'm none the wiser. Next day I learned that, oh, this person is responsible for trafficking and blah, 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 blah. Oh, she must be implicated in it now because she talked to him. Like, make it make sense. Make it make sense. Was the best. I hope he will find better. We'll find better, yeah. Yeah, men have man buns. No one bats an eye. Exactly. And I think man buns can look very masculine if you have a beard with it, or, I mean, even if you don't have a beard with it, it depends on, it's one of those things that you can pull off or you can't. Just like I can pull off short hair. Not a lot of women can pull off short hair. I'm lucky. I'm lucky because I can't stand the texture of my hair and the way it feels against my neck. I can't stand my hair is this weird texture. It's static. I couldn't. I gave myself 3 fucking years to let my hair grow out. And I could not bear it. I took a random ass, they're not even hair cutting scissors, and I cut my hair off because I couldn't stand it. And I think I did a damn good job, and I think it looks way better, and I could care less about what any of these insecure chodes have to say about it. You don't own me. You don't dictate how I feel or what I think or what I should do, because it's all up to me. I'll do whatever the fuck I want. I don't do things to make these slime balls happy. Yeah, don't waste your time on them. Exactly. I like your hair. Thank you. Thank you. Most people do. Do you sing, Anne? Once in a while, just for shits and giggles. I'm not the best singer, though. I've never taken voice lessons. I don't have the best vocal range or pitch. What has Trump done for America, by the way? Make us safe again. Close the border. Make it so that a bunch of illegal immigrants can't come here and gang rape our women. That just on the rise. Look at the UK. Look at places in Europe where it's like 80% Palestinian men are raping women. That doesn't mean all people, that doesn't mean all Middle Eastern individuals are bad people. I'm not saying that. Of course, people want to jump off the deep end and accuse and just assume whatever makes them comfortable, whatever, validates their hatred or disagreement of someone. But no, those are just facts. Sky is blue. I didn't make it so. Too bad. Trump made this country a lot safer. And also women's sports aren't being threatened. No, you're okay, Life's a Cycle. I didn't get that offended by it. I get what you mean. You seem pretty nice. I love your hair. Thank you. Eye makeup looks good. Thank you. I did try letting my hair grow long. Didn't like it. So, even if I were like, I kind of wish I had given it more of a chance. I would just let my hair, cut my hair, if not buzz it, out of spite, just to piss people like you off. Just the idea that I'm pissing you off just because, that you're pissed off because a random stranger cut their hair, it's kind of, that's kind of fun. Triggering you because of the way I like to have my hair. It's interesting. Yeah, the haters like how I react to them. Well, then why would they act that way in the first place, not knowing what my reaction's gonna be? Okay, because they're looking for a reaction. Okay, whatever. It gets annoying. I get a little sick of it. I don't lose sleep over it. I could really care less, but it's like, I like to let them know how fucking stupid they are, because they are. You can't argue with conservatives because they use logic and you use emitting, yeah. Very pathetic indeed. Yeah, as soon as I swiped, it was just the first impression. I'm sorry again. I think you're amazing. I appreciate that. Thank you. I don't like the idea that just because I cut my hair short, people are gonna assume that I'm liberal or a feminist. That's fucking stupid. So men can have their hair however they want and people don't bat an eye or say anything. I don't have a septum piercing. I'd understand that. I'd understand people, having the impression that I'm liberal. If I had one of those bovine nose rings, which I think look really stupid. Just my opinion, man. Maybe some people can pull it off. I don't know. Not my thing, though. Mm-hmm. Well, I think you can support the president, support Trump, vote for him, wear a MAGA hat. I have 2 of them. But also disagree on some issues. We're not sheep. I mean, I guess some of y'all are, some people are, but we shouldn't be. We should be thinking for ourselves, common sense, I wish the Epstein files would have been handled better. There's one thing that I think could be improved. I think there should be more focus on that and less focus on UFOs, but what do I know? I don't know how this is all going to end or what the whole entire plan is, the means justifies the ends sort of thing. That's kind of how I view the whole tariffs argument. It might be one of those long-term solutions because we've been, pussy whipped by other countries a million times over only for them to stomp on us and disrespect us. That's fucked up. And there has to be a solution to that, and it's probably not a quick solution. Bernard, you're a retard. I'm not a liberal. I think I made that clear. Bye-bye, you're not welcome. The hate is from the left, believe me. Believe me. So, okay, Ann Widdecombe, murdered. Charlie Kirk, murdered. ICE officers being run over by libtard protesters, and if they defend themselves, they send out their minions to try to make ICE look bad. And we all know, at this point, it's a setup. They send out their little martyr to die for their cause, while threatening ICE. They have no choice but to defend themselves. And as soon as they've shot the bitch for trying to run them over, trying to kill them, of course, a bunch of protesters just out of the freaking woodwork, out of the clear blue, just boing. As if they're all reading each other's minds. In Minnesota, people are honking horns and whistling if someone has a Texas license plate, so that they can all get around and gang up on this person and hurt them. They're waiting in Minnesota. You have these libtard extremists waiting around in parking garages, sneaking around, looking for bumper stickers, looking to see if there's any sign that someone's MAGA. And it could be something so subtle and so just ambiguous. It could be something like someone having a Texas license plate. All they have to do is have a license plate that comes from a red state, and these people threaten them, beat them up, hit them, and hurt them. And there was this incident where they'll see a white man walking down the street and start punching him and beating him up just because he's a white man. And they think, oh, he looks like a Trump supporter because he looks like a manly man. And one of them was actually one of them that they punched and beat up. And as soon as he's like, they just walked up to this guy and started punching him and beating him until he blacked out temporarily. And then he gets up, he's like, I'm one of you guys, I'm a Democrat, blah, blah, blah. And then this big fat Karen screams, well, she should like more like squeals and hollers, "He's one of us! He's one of us!" And they're just standing there sheepishly looking stupid. "Oh, we just beat up one of ours." No, these assholes want a civil war. They want to kill all conservatives. They literally think that we're the Nazis when they are the ones that act like Nazis. All of that is very much Nazi behavior. Yeah, it's very bizarre. It's gobsmacking, crazy. Who else have they hurt, man? I mean, yeah, like that one guy. I forget exactly who he was, but he was an officer of sorts. He got murdered. Oh yeah, the BLM riots. Don't forget about that. Not to mention all the Black Lives Matter funding going to the higher up, the elites running that organization, went to their mansions, didn't go to helping black people. Meanwhile, Trump has helped the black community more than any president in my lifetime, even more so than Obama. And again, you know what I think? I think I think Republicans were way too hard on Obama back then, you know? Now, I don't think that Obamacare was any good, but I think that it was just a little bit disproportionate, and there was a lot of unreasonable hatred towards him. Like, "Oh my God, he's wearing a tan suit." Who fucking cares? That doesn't have anything to do with whether he can do the job or not. You know, I can criticize my side. Thing about the liberals, the Democrats, is they can't criticize their side. It doesn't matter. Like it doesn't matter if you have somebody murdering someone. They, you know, if it happens to be a black person murdering a white person, then they take the black person's side. We have a case just like that going on right now. Anyhow, yeah, I mean, let's not pay any heed to their hypocrisy and their lies, because it's ridiculous. It's absolute ridiculous. "Oh, the right's committing the most violence." No, we're not. Not by a long shot. Where do you get all your information? Whoopi Goldberg? Probably. I bet you're a big Whoopi fan. Yep. Okay, I'm getting a little behind in the comments here, my bad. Like George Carlin said, it's a big club and you ain't in it. That's for damn sure. Bohemian Grove. Did you know they wouldn't let Trump into Bohemian Grove? He wasn't allowed in for some reason. I'm gonna look that up. Is there any answer to that? Isn't this cute, guys? I can't find any more of these things, and they used to have them in all different colors. I'm kind of wishing I got like 4 other ones because these are so cute. They have some. This is the best one though, I think, but they had some green. They had a green one, a yellow one, a blue one, 2 purple ones, and a red one. It's cute. What should I name it? I haven't even named it yet. Like, I love the way you can set it down. Like, you can pose it in any way, you know? Cute. So cute. So cute. Okay. Some I know vaping's not good. So if anyone pipes up and tells me that, "Oh, you're vaping," you know, it's like, I know it's not good. I really wish I could quit. I've got a really bad compulsion when it comes to that. That should be the next habit I quit. I know. But it doesn't by any means discredit my long, hard journey quitting heroin. I know some people like to use that as a way to discredit me. It's ridiculous. then you might as well say, oh, if I have a coffee addiction, oh, that means that your heroin, overcoming heroin doesn't matter. So fucking stupid. Anywho. I'd love to hang out with you. Oh, thank you. Did you know Rothschild started investing in China during 1978 after Mao died? No, I didn't know that, but I know the Rothschilds have a lot of skeletons in their closet that that more and more people are beginning to discuss. I think there's a lot of 12-year-old boys on this stream. You remind me of the singer from the Cranberries. Thank you. You see, people don't look at her and think, oh, she's a liberal, feminazi, manly man. You know? People look at her and think, oh, she looks cool. You know? I think I pull off short hair really nicely. And I'm not being arrogant saying that. It's just a fact. And I wouldn't bring that up at all. I wouldn't be talking about it if people weren't saying stupid things. It's the stupidity behind people's words that just annoy the shit out of me. Me too. It fits you well. Thank you. I love Zelda. You look like Natalie Portman when she had short hair. Thank you. Thank you, Rita. It's awesome that I'm seeing more women on my channel. I like that. You remind me of Julia Garner, but with short hair. Julia Garner, who? Oh yeah. Let me see if I have the right person in mind. Wasn't she compared to a Dux Vijay in Family Guy? Let me see. Oh no, that's a different Julia. I'm thinking of a different Garner. I love Julia Garner. She's the one from Ozark. She's the best character. She's the best actress other than Laura Linney in that whole film. I think that Laura Linney had the best performance in that show. The mom, especially when her in that show, and this is a spoiler, especially when something happened to her brother. I won't spoil too much. Something happens to her brother, and there's this moment where she's just parked out in the like a Walmart parking lot, or I forget where exactly, but she's in a parking lot and she's drinking and going through the grief, and just her performance was so real. It was so good. That's a good show, I must say. But Julia Garner was my favorite character. She's a great actress. Yeah. She's 32 years old. Ozark was such a good show. I watched the whole thing, yeah. Jennifer Garner. No wonder I got them confused. They both have J names too. And I was thinking of her. Yeah, I like Julia Garner. She's cool. Thank you. Do you know about E10 and D40 being put into your gas, which are causing your gas-powered vehicles to damage quicker? No, I haven't heard about that. Have I watched Black Mirror? I have. I have watched quite a few episodes. My favorite one was my favorite Black Mirror episode that I can remember. And it's been like 5 years since I've seen it, but I'll never forget that one episode where it was black and white. It was black. The whole thing was black and white, and it was about these drones, these like dog-like drones going around and surveying people and let me see what that was. Let me look that up. I forget exactly what that episode was called. It's been so long. It was really good though, that one. Let me see. Black Mirror dog drone. And by the way, guys, don't forget to like and subscribe. Okay, Metalhead, that's my favorite episode. The drone dog from Black Mirror appears in season 4, episode 5, titled Metalhead, filmed entirely in black and white. The episode follows a woman named Bella, played by Maxine Peake, trying to survive a relentless, autonomous, four-legged robotic guard dog in a stark post-apocalyptic wasteland. That's the best one. I loved that episode. That was very, very smart. I loved that episode. That's a good show. Well, you know, if you think about DARPA, they developed some cool dogs that are awesome, like Spot. Spot the dog. Did you know that war in Iran is suspect the prices of gas across the world? No, actually, he's blowing up their nuclear facilities so that they don't shoot up and kill and bomb Americans and their own people, especially the Jews. Their whole regime is about death to all Jews, death to all Americans, and they can't have nuclear weapons. Point blank, they cannot have nuclear weapons. That's it. And the ones who are shooting at commercial vessels, they deserve to be bombed. And the submarines bringing dangerous, deadly drugs to America and killing our people. They say, there's this one imbecile saying that Trump is bombing fishing vessels, like he's just bombing innocent people randomly. Lies upon lies upon lies upon lies. He is blowing up criminals, and I mean people who are killing other people. You don't think it's okay? Narco-terrorists, you don't think it's okay to bomb narco-terrorists? People who are, killing our people? Unbelievable, the lies that are going around regarding this situation. Yeah, I'm still an alcoholic, but yeah, I used to dabble in other resources of that unusual source of fun and pain at the same time. It eventually just becomes a drain and a burden, and it kind of ruins your life. I used to have veins in my arms. I used to have very prominent veins for a woman. Not anymore. I used to have perfect teeth. I had braces when I was 10. I used to have bunny rabbit buck teeth. I had braces and a headgear, and they even, they applied some type of protective coating to my teeth that I wasn't aware of at that time. My teeth were perfect. But doing the heroin really messed me up. You don't feel like taking care of yourself. You don't think about it. You don't have any motivation, no dopamine to drive you onwards and doing stuff that's good for you. The only thing you have any urge to do is get more heroin, get more heroin, get more heroin. It becomes a very sad, lonely, and boring way to live. It gets to the point also where your tolerance is so high that you can't get any real euphoria from it anymore. You're just doing it at this point to not get sick. And every now and then there'll be some substance, going around, and people are talking about it and saying, hey, someone OD'd from the heroin that this person's selling right now. Mike got the best heroin you'll ever try. If you hear about someone ODing from that stuff, you're gonna be like, holy shit, I have to get my hands on it because it's actually gonna make me feel something. Like heroin, when you're that deep in addiction, it's the only thing that matters. You lose sight of everything that else in your life that matters, whether it be family and friends, unless they're selling drugs to you, which they aren't really your real friends. I couldn't imagine betraying my dog. I couldn't imagine giving my dad more burden and worry when he's taking care of my mom. I couldn't imagine just throwing my life away throwing my painting away, throwing my potential to, you know, find a good man and get married and have kids, which I've always wanted my whole life. I feel like, yeah, I mean, it really, it took, it put me back a few years. It made me a little bit behind. I was already behind, now I'm really behind. But in certain aspects, I'm more ahead than a lot of people who use. There's some that say, and I've heard them say it, that if you use heroin for 5 years, you're screwed. 5 years or more, you're screwed. And I don't believe that has to be the case. I think you have to want it. You have to want to get clean. I don't crave it. If people may not believe me, I don't care. All that matters is what's true. You know, I don't crave it at all. And I am prescribed Suboxone. It basically makes it so I'm not sick. I'm weaning down significantly. I take about between 1 and half of one per day when they had me on 3 strips not long ago. I've been weaning down like a boss, and it's going well. It's all a process. We had this argument yesterday of people trying to delegitimize one's progress in quitting heroin because they're on Suboxone, even if it's prescribed by their doctor and saves lives. Don't listen to people like that. They're dangerous. You'll start trying to reason with yourself and justify it, and you'll say like, oh well. And I mean, this was my mindset before when people would talk this way to me, like try to shame me for taking what's prescribed to me. Well, if everyone thinks I'm a failure and, you know, there's none of them are good, then I might as well go do heroin because everyone sees me as a loser anyway, no matter what I do. You know, nothing I do is right, so I might as well go do what, you know. That's the addict brain thinking, and you will try to make excuses for it. You will try to validate your decision, and once you've decided to go relapse, you're on a fucking trajectory. Last time I ever relapsed was when I had a drug dream. That's why smoking weed early on in recovery really helped. Really helped. I'm not saying weed is good for all cases, man. I'd probably be better off without weed at this point. But it really helped early on in my recovery. And it really helped with the anxiety, the drug dreams, the boredom, you know. It can help in a lot of ways for certain situations. No, they don't want us dead because our military won't leave the region alone. Trump tried to give it so many chances. He tried to hold off as long as possible. He didn't want war. He did not want to go to war. But they wouldn't stop threatening us and bombing our commercial vessels. And no, they're the ones who instigate it. They hate the West. They hate our civilization because they're jealous, because their whole regime, their whole system is run by animals who kill their own people. And they hate the West. They want to take over the West. They want to infiltrate our politics. They want to switch us from being a republic to having like in the UK, they have Sharia law courts. You have these leftist morons saying that basically the way women are treated in these countries is propaganda. That's what some of these people are saying. Meanwhile, these women, they you know, these Muslim women who move from those countries or convert to Christianity or whatever, they can testify and tell you that women are treated like absolute cattle there, not even as good as cattle. The genital mutilation exists. That's what they do. marrying young little babies to old men. If a woman's hair is slightly askew under their hijab, she gets thrown into an windowless vehicle. I've seen it. There's actual footage. I'll bet it got taken down too. Let me see if I can find it. I wouldn't be surprised if they took that down though. Would not be surprised. Sick. People like Hassan Piker said that it's better for white Christian women to get R-worded than any other ethnicity of or religion. Sick. Absolutely fucking sick. Let me see. Woman with hijab thrown into van. I'm telling you, I'm probably not gonna find it. He probably took it down. This was a while back when I saw this, and I was pretty shaken up when I saw it. Let me see. Let's see. Woman not wearing hijab correctly forced. Man, they forced her into that van so brutally. Into white van. Iranian man throws yogurt at women because they weren't wearing hijabs. Oh yeah, that doesn't surprise me. Woman without hijab chased by police. If I ever find this, I'll share it on my Discord. This is ridiculous. I'm probably not going to find it. I'll just put in woman forced into white van. Or windowless van. Not windowless can. Windowless van. Windowless white van. Huh. Don't know. I might not find it, guys, unfortunately. Yeah, I don't know if I'm gonna find it. That's, of course, because they don't, they want to keep people ignorant, and they want for the lies to commence. Let me just Google it. Maybe it's somewhere else. Let's see. Woman, and it was just her hijab was merely askew, revealing a few stray hairs, and she got forced into this van. No one knows what happened to her. Forced into white van because hijab was worn wrong. Yeah, Iranian morality police. The Iranian morality police regularly force women into white vans for wearing the compulsory hijab incorrectly, a practice that gained global attention following the tragic death of Mahsa Amini. The context of the white vans. In Iran, special police units known as the Gasht-e Irshad guidance patrols, or morality police, enforce strict Islamic dress codes. The enforcement. Officers patrol public spaces in white vans, often unmarked or with a green stripe. They target women whose hair is showing or who wear short sleeves, or whose clothing is deemed too tight. Dude, they throw me in that van right away. Wow. The process. When a woman is accused of bad hijab, officers violently drag or force her into the back of a van. I'm surprised I'm able to find this immediately on Google, because oftentimes they try to hide this information these days. The outcome. Detainees are taken to a correctional facility for a mandatory re-education lecture on modesty rules before being forced to sign a pledge to comply. Some of these women are fucking murdered. In September 2022, a 22-year-old Mahsa Amini was arrested in Tehran by the Guidance Patrol for allegedly wearing a headscarf improperly. Eyewitnesses reported she was forced into a white police van and beaten inside the vehicle. She collapsed shortly after arriving at the detention facility and died 3 days later. Her death sparked the historic nationwide woman life freedom protests against the Islamic Republic's oppression of women. And you have liberals here saying that that's propaganda. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. I wouldn't be surprised if the Democrats pushed the fashion police on us. That wouldn't be surprising at all. That would not be surprising. The Islamic Republic took power in 1979, yep. Via revolution, now dictatorship. No one wanted to be oppressed. Of course the people don't want to be oppressed there. And I know things used to be normal before 1979. You should see photos. Women are walking around like regular citizens, getting, walking out in public. They're hanging out with their girlfriends. They're wearing cute clothes. Their hair's showing. Women are just doing whatever makes them happy. Women don't want to live the way they're living now in that country. I never said they did. They come to this country and they testify about, their treatment, how they've been treated, and you have libtards denying them, telling people that it's all propaganda. It's ridiculous. But anyway, they live that way out of fear. Well, yeah, because they're going to get killed if they wear their hijab slightly askew. Potentially. Either that or they're going to be taken to some weird facility where they're going to, try to brainwash them again. Holy shit, okay, well, that's correct. Liberals tell people what their experience was from their upper middle class expensive cafe. Yep. Democrat power, go figure, says, how do you deal with being unattractive since you are? I wonder what you look like. I'll bet you're a real looker. You sound jealous. Do you think the USA can make their lives better by going to war? Depends. Depends on the context. I think we can make our lives better if we destroy all Iran's nuclear weapons. Because they're all about death to America. They threaten us all the fucking time. And they shoot at our commercial vessels. And they, you have narco-terrorists bringing drugs over our border and killing our people. Those people should be bombed, yes. 100%, and I think Trump should go harder on them. 100%. Triggered much? Democrat power? Yep. Iran nuclear sites have been destroyed. Exactly, Andrew. Exactly. That's what I'm trying to tell these chodes. We're just trying to spread. They're all. Some of these people are trying to spread lies and claim that Trump is targeting civilians. Never happened. They'll just pull whatever out of their ass to try to make Trump look bad. Doesn't matter if he's done nothing wrong. They'll try to find something. They'll twist anything they want. Yeah, but they say Republicans are rich. Bullshit. All the Republicans I know are working people. Exactly. Most of the Republicans I know were blue collar, working class. I don't know a single rich Republican. Never have. Meanwhile, I can think of quite a few rich Democrats. They act like, oh, that, you know what? The thing is, the Democrats used to fight for class issues and class warfare. But now they couldn't care less about that. They scam the American people. They, while we have veterans homeless on the street, they're giving freebies to illegal immigrants, including gang members. They'd rather protect a gang member or, even potentially someone who is part of the cartel. They'd rather protect those people as illegal immigrants than homeless veterans on the street. They probably would rather that homeless veterans suffer on the street because they're a white American male. So fucking stupid. Joe Biden is a robot. Mm-hmm. Democrat power probably looks like Sid the Sloth. No doubt, Maxine. No doubt. Probably worse, actually. That's, we don't want to insult poor Sid the Sloth. He probably looks more like Big Ed, this guy. Probably looks like Big Ed. You want to know what Big Ed looks like? I'll bet he's a big fan of Big Ed, too. Probably looks up to him. Let me show you what Big Ed looks like. There you go. Perfect. This is probably what this guy looks like. Big Ed! You know it. 100% correct. Absolutely. She's fun at parties. Oh, you bet. Getting a little too old for parties, though. Depends on the party, I suppose. I'd be totally down to have a party if we were just, in a nice kind of, relaxing setting. No, not a lot of, not, there can be weed, but not out. Maybe a little champagne is fine if it's a special occasion. And, but nothing extreme. I have no problem with shrooms either. And lots of video games. We can all, have a video game night and play 007 on the Nintendo 64 and multiplayer and yeah, we could have a good time, Play go swimming in the pool. That sounds like a good party to me. The narco-terrorists are like 99% American citizens, by the way. But yes, arrest them. Yeah, I never discounted them either. Of course, I think the domestic terrorists we have are more dangerous because they allow for this to come into our country. They advocate for that shit. They advocate for people like Hassan Piker. Yeah, we have domestic terrorists. I never discount them. They should fucking, man, I don't care if they're citizens. They should be either sent to jail or deported to the countries which they praise. You know, they say they hate America, and they act like we should be like countries that practice Sharia law. Tell them to go to those countries then, you know. They don't deserve to be here if they're gonna threaten us. You know, domestic terrorism is our real threat. So, in fact, I think it's our biggest threat, frankly. I think it's our biggest threat. Don't get it twisted. People need to understand Iran cannot have a fucking nuke. Why? Because the IRGC thinks that they have to launch a nuke to usher in their messiah, whoever the fuck that is for them. Exactly, Trey. Precisely. Right on, kiddo. Thank you. I am 3 days sober of waiting. I keep sweating. I know that struggle, man. I wish I wouldn't have picked it up again. I try to only do it before bed after I've completed everything in my day. But if it's right on my bedside table, it's often hard for me to avoid it first thing in the morning. And then I'm groggy. I get up way too late. I'm not motivated. Yeah, it's hard. And when the thing is, now I got to start over. You know, that I have to go through all that again. You know, getting off weed. And the thing I struggle with the most with that sort of thing is the fact that I go days and nights without sleeping. I lose so much sleep, and it is really hard, man. I'll be doing these live streams while trying to quit that stuff, and I won't have much energy because I'm gonna be so sleep deprived. Yeah, that's really difficult. Democrats have changed and not for the better. Exactly, man. They used to be pretty okay. What they represent and believe is truly scary. Precisely. All they are for is anything that's against Trump. And identity politics. And shoving sexuality down little children's throats. And throwing women under the bus. They'll throw their, other Democrats under the bus if it means supporting people like Hassan and people from the Middle East. They're so afraid of being called Islamophobic or racist and all that they you should see the way it is in the UK and the way that the UK police act. There is actual footage of some white guy being beaten up by a gang of illegal immigrants, and he's the only white guy there. He's getting beaten up. The police are right on the curb watching this all go down. And as soon as the white guy breaks free from the gang and the gang splits, they run off, the police go right over to this young white guy and just slam him against the wall, hog tie him, and then take him by the scruff of his neck and throw him into their vehicle. And there's way more than one of those instances in the UK with the cops targeting white people. Unbelievable. I mean, they have the left has no idea how unbelievably racist they are. Not only do they hate white people and want for white people to think they're all bad people, like we're all racist, even though the Republicans were the ones who ended racism, by the way. Don't forget that. Democrats wanted to keep it around. But they also, they're very racist towards minorities too, because they infantilize them. They treat minorities like little babies who can't think for themselves. They think that black people want to have poor neighborhoods, and that's just fundamentally in their nature, and that to try to help them and make their neighborhoods safer so their kids can get to school without getting shot up. They think that that's racist. And it's, oh my God, dude, You have mothers there literally thanking Trump for making their neighborhood safer. I'm really getting sick of the lies, man. They really do spread like wildfire. They do. That's not really true. But anyway. Yeah, I hate anti-Semitism. I absolutely hate anti-Semitism. It's disgusting. Yeah, I'm very disgusted by the anti-Semitic comments here. You know, it's all about keeping you in control and keeping people apart so we're not as strong together. Yep, exactly. That's what the Democrats are all about. That's why they switched from class issues and over to identity politics. I think we really need to make, we really need to have some common sense, people. Nothing scary about having common sense. There's nothing, insert word slash phobic. There's nothing phobic about common sense and reality and being honest. Again, the sky is blue, the grass is green. I didn't make it so. Had nothing to do with me, really. No one's saying that Iranian people aren't smart, man. But you know what makes people less intelligent? Inbreeding. And you know what else is not intelligent? Letting the people live like animals. Genital mutilation, the way they treat women. The way they teach their young boys to kill. Give them guns and teach them, like who's the enemy, aka the Jews. That's stupid. Actually, the Jewish people are known for having the highest IQ of any ethnicity on the planet. Then you've got places in, certain places in Asia and vice versa. So let's not spread misinformation around, shall we? Yeah, just because you can criticize a regime and a system that people have been living under, and a culture that has completely brainwashed the people in the way certain men in power behave. You can criticize all that without being against the common man, the citizens who do not want to live like that. You have some older people there who remember when things were normal. You got a lot of people in Cuba that don't want to live under communism. A lot of people in these places where you have dictators and fascism and real fascism. Oh, real fascism, guys. Buckle up. Like these morons don't even know what a fascist is. They're constantly calling conservatives fascists. Then you ask them, what's a fascist? And they couldn't tell you. They couldn't tell you. Try it. Perfect Dark was a great game. Yeah, I love that game. Yeah, I don't like to argue with these people either because it's futile. You can't reason with them. Some, like in rare cases, you might be able to have a reasonable discussion, right? There are some Democrats who are okay. Like I like the Bill Maher types who can at least admit when they're wrong and think outside their own echo chamber. They could, and he even apologized for Trump for some of the faulty things, the misleading things he was saying about him. I don't look liberal at all. You're an asshole. Research the Balfour Agreement. I mean, Trump, you know, there's some things about Trump that I'm not happy about. I'm not saying he's perfect, but he's making way for better candidates. And Kamala Harris would have been an absolute disaster. In fact, I think that she would make it so that no one would ever want to elect a woman president again. Because everyone would associate all women with Kamala. Like they're fucking retards. What do you watch, CNN? Because they'll have no shortage of, you know, shit to say about Trump, whether it's true or not. I never said that the president should be a woman. I'm against DEI. I'm about meritocracy. Whether it's a man or a woman, blue or yellow, black and white, Jesus loves them in his sight. We should hire people or designate people who are qualified. Doesn't matter if they're a man or a woman to me. As long as they're qualified, then it's good, I think. Actually, the conservatives are way less violent than the left these days. The conservatives these days are more like the Democrats from the 90s. Democrats are now, most Democrats that I, you know, not all of them. Some of them are okay. I'm not saying they're all bad at all, right? You know, I like certain Democrats. But the Democrats are committing so much violence against the police, defund the police, commit violence against ICE, block the streets when protesting, make so that mom can't take Billy to the hospital to get his appendix removed. You know, they're selfish. They don't give a fuck. They've been brainwashed by whatever university they come from, because I mean, when I went to university, my God, they really tried to shove Marxism down everybody's throats. They really tried to get everybody thinking in a communist sort of way. Constantly using words like, regurgitating words like collective, 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 collective. You know? Like, it's the way they use these words. Constantly. If you weren't a radical feminist, you got humiliated by some teachers. I bore witness to it. If you were a white man in the class, I had a radical feminazi teacher who put this guy down when we were supposed to do self-portraits of ourselves. He did a portrait of himself where he's a cowboy overlooking a landscape on a horse, and she's like, "Oh, you're a white man trying to colonize the land, huh?" That's the way liberals are these days, most of them. You know, they hate America, they hate white people, especially men. And if you're a minority who's Republican, oh my gosh, do you ever get hate. If you're a trans person like Blair White, who's conservative or leans conservative, then you're getting a ton of hate, and you're deemed a traitor to your kind. If you're black and you vote Republican, you're treated like absolute garbage by the left. They're hypocrites. They don't care about minorities. They only care about getting more voters. That's all they care about. And they hate, and bringing down Trump, they would not care. Like, if they could falsely accuse him on something, if they could get him into, arrested and sent to prison for literally doing nothing, they would. They would. Sorry, I got something in my eye now. Yeah, well, just to all the retards, short hair does not have anything to do with politics. I could understand if my hair was, like, purple and I had a bovine nose piercing. But me having a Dolores O'Riordan or Winona Ryder haircut, you know, it suits me. It looks good on me. It's comfortable. That's all I give a shit about. Are we forgetting that Trump is in the files? Well, guess what? He's in the files because they tried to blackmail him. Because Trump was exposing them. You know, they always say, oh my gosh, Trump's in the files. But they never say why. They never elaborate. Ever. They just expect that I'm going to be like, oh my gosh, clutch my pearls. As soon as they say Trump's in the files. There are a fuck ton of people in those files who are innocent. You idiot. Trump was never associated with Epstein or Maxwell, but Bill Clinton, you got that right. You got that right. When they were being interrogated on that shit, and Bill Clinton was being shown, like, they're showing him these photos of him with minors. Bill Clinton takes that photo and he's like, and then his lawyer sitting right next to him, she snatches it from him because this isn't going to look good on him. But the senile old fart takes it away from her immediately and looks at it with way more attention. He's just like, ooh, the memories. Radio silence from the left on that. Radio silence. Hypocrites. Liars. Short hair is cute AF. Thank you, Wolverine. Yeah, some guys like it, you know? But the fucking retards are gonna say, oh, that's synonymous with being a liberal. Dems and the left hate the American dream because everyone under 40 can't buy a home. Yeah, it's a joke. It's an absolute joke. I mean, look at all the Democrat-run states. It's way worse there. You know, this has been a blue state for a while here. We might actually become a red state. Oregon might become a red state for the first time in 40 years. I'm looking forward to that. But do you ever notice that all the Democrat-run states, they got all the homeless people, all the fucking poverty, you know, all the houselessness, just your average American not being able to buy a home, living with their parents. I mean, it's just... It's really bad in blue states, especially. Really bad. Yeah. You have a good head on your shoulders. Thank you, solid built. Trump was associated with Epstein. There are photos out. Yeah, there are photos of them standing next to each other. There's photos with Epstein alongside a bunch of other famous people. Does not implicate them in any of Epstein's crimes, like trafficking and solicitation and raping women. Blah blah blah. It doesn't have anything to do with that. He hung out with tons of socialites and rich people at parties. How could there not be photos of that? Fucking idiot. He's not protecting pedos, man. But if he is working with them, then, you know, I think he should throw those people under the bus. You know, don't go down with the damn ship. I don't know. But Trump, there's no evidence of him being on that island. It seems like he's just trying to keep it together while all these super powerful people happen to be involved. And you got people from the CIA having some involvement. You know, I think it's bigger and far more complex than we even imagined. So I don't know. But just going outright, just because you want it to be true, just because you want for him to be implicated, You know, you'd rather he was a rapist than not. People are desperate to implicate Trump in these files. It has nothing to do with whether he did it or not. They would frame him if they could. They would frame him and deceive everybody about, you know, regarding his innocence if they could. That's all they care about, is getting Trump, bringing him down. That's all they care about. They don't care about whether he's innocent or not. None of that matters. And they don't care about any of these victims. They don't care about the young women and girls being raped. They don't give a singular fuck about that. They do not. Because if they did, they wouldn't let illegal immigrants come into our country by the droves, committing crimes against women and everybody else. They'd care. They'd speak up about these women being tormented and raped by illegal immigration, women's sports being, you know, being invaded by men who failed the men's league. You know, it's ridiculous. No, you know, they were acquaintances. Trump and Epstein were acquaintances at first, business acquaintances. But then as soon as Trump found out about the depravity of Epstein and his island, he cut ties, and he began blowing the whistle and telling everyone that Epstein's a creep before it was mainstream, and people ignored it. And Epstein is, you can see it in those files clear as day where he's mentioned they were trying to blackmail him and get rid of Trump. Because we know what happens when someone blows the whistle on this depravity. They disappear. And they wanted for Trump to disappear. They wanted to get rid of him. Because, yeah, he was speaking up for these poor victims and survivors. Trump was a Democrat. He was. He's more like a 90s Democrat. Back when it was legit. There are so many people in those files. Of course, some of them are just innocent bystanders who just happen to be at a party. Damn, I never knew that, Anne. It's clear that they're just trying to get more dirt on Trump. He's one of the best presidents for your country. Indeed he is. Trump being in the files, and they knew it before, they kept it until Biden left power. Oh, that's the thing, man. If Trump was truly implicated in those files as someone who actually was involved in hurting women and girls, they would have got him a long time ago. They would have found a way to implicate him, to make it, to send him, get him to jail, if that were actually a thing. You know, they would have done something about it when Biden was in office a long time ago if it were legit. But they didn't, did they? They're all afraid of being exposed. But the Democrats never want to talk about that. Oh, I'm sure they still love Bill Clinton. They never talk about his depravity. They're probably proud of him. Trump wasn't in the files. He helped take Epstein down, but these weak liberals have severe Trump derangement syndrome, and they will believe their liberal media bias. Exactly. I mean, he was mentioned in the files, but only because they were talking amongst themselves about how they're going to get rid of Trump, because Trump was a threat. Of course, they never want to acknowledge that. They hate the truth. They can't handle it because it exposes them. OMG, girl, you're so pretty. Thank you. It doesn't matter if Bill Clinton was in the files, which he was. Put him in prison too. You guys always use it as an excuse. No one's using it as an excuse. We're going by the evidence. If Trump was implicated in the files so that, like, there was actual proof that he hurt little girls, I would drop him like a hot potato. And that's the difference between me and a lot of other Republican-leaning individuals and libtards like yourself and Democrats. They can never point out the flaws of their own party and what a predator the Clintons are, blah, 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 blah. They don't care. They just want to bring down Trump. That's all they care about. Wouldn't matter if he was innocent. Wouldn't matter. I never said Trump wasn't in the files. Grimy, I never once said Trump wasn't in the files. He's in the files because they want to frame him. They want to bring him down for being a whistleblower. Look it up. Look it up. That's all you gotta do. I never said he wasn't in the files. But when people say he's in the files, they're trying to accuse him of pedophilia when that's not the case, and there's no evidence of it. He tried to expose Trump for that once he found out, before it was mainstream. And they tried to blackmail him for trying to expose them. I was liberal for 10 years. I had Trump derangement syndrome. But I was afraid of losing friends. I was afraid of losing my job. I couldn't even say I was Christian without being shamed in, certain parts around my place of work, especially. But then I started to think, you know what? I started to wonder, why is there all this targeted hate towards Trump, even though so many of these lies about him have been debunked, if not all of them? What is up with that? Like, what is up with all this hatred, yet you have so many people who are completely worthy of hatred? All this stuff about Trump, there's either no proof or these lies have been debunked. And, I basically admitted that I had Trump derangement syndrome. I started to really just think for myself. I value my integrity. I put my integrity before fake friends, so-called friends and family. I had conservative friends even when I was a Democrat. I secretly agreed with a lot of the things they said, but I wouldn't have dared said it out loud back then. I was afraid. I was a bit of a coward. But then I was just like, I've got nothing to lose. I'm not gonna be a sheep. I'm gonna think for myself. I'm gonna start questioning things. As soon as I started merely questioning things, I got ostracized by a family member. I lost friends. It is what it is. Not a single one of my conservative friends back in the day treated me that way, ever. They were always respectful. Always civil. Always. My Democrat friends, on the other hand, they try to gauge which side you stood on. You're either with us or you're against us, was the mentality. Very cultish. You can join, but you can't leave without us trying to ruin your life. That's the way a lot of them are. These days, at least. Sorry, guys, about being really behind. Exactly, very cultish, indeed. Trump derangement syndrome exists for a reason. Well, some people get a lot of hate for no good reason, other than the fact that they hate the name. They hate the Trump name. Ooh, big evil orange man. You guys see life like it's a Disney movie, where we're the villains and you're the good guys. Fucking stupid. Critical thinking is important regardless of political affiliation. I agree. But a lot of the Democrats can't think logically. They can't even discern what a woman is. So there you go. Of course, there are good and bad people on all sides. I agree. And remember when Trump said that? Remember when Trump said that there are good and bad people on both sides? And they twisted that and edited it and clipped it to make him look like he was saying the Proud Boys or the right extremists were good. That he was on, that like, they tried to make it seem like he was on the side of the Proud Boys and like Nazis. Actual Nazis, like people who, Nazi apologists and people like that, which wasn't true at all. That's all been debunked. The Russian hoax has been debunked. You got some idiots still trying to make that a thing. Fucking stupid. And they just will not quit, man. They really want it to be true. They were hoping too hard that they could frame Trump. Well, Maximilian, you don't know what a fascist is if you think the USA is fascist. What original thought or experience did you have? I decided to become a streamer because as someone who dealt with addiction, I watched a lot of recovery content early on, which really helped me. And when I read the comments, and there were a few people saying that we need more of this content, I decided to contribute. And also, I thought it would be a good way to get my paintings out there as well. Because I can. Why do you think Asmongold became a live streamer? Why do you think anyone becomes a live streamer? And because I need to make a living. I think this would be a good source of work for me. If I build it up, keep up the momentum, and just keep going at it. Again, you know what? It took me 3 years to make 422 subscribers with just videos and shorts. And then when back then I couldn't live stream. I wasn't like eligible. And I wasn't monetized. Well, just mid-January this year, 2026, I started live streaming because I realized that I'm able to. They're going to let me in. So I started live streaming mid-January this year, and I shot from 422 subscribers to over 800 now. No, sorry, 8,000. My bad. I have 8,000 plus subscribers now, and it hasn't even been a year. So I think I'm doing a good job. And I like to talk about cooking. I like to talk about video games. I like to talk about my art. Here, let me show you some of my art, because I know some people, they like to shun and poo-poo people who say that they're artists. Like, oh no, she couldn't possibly be good. Watercolor on paper. John Steinbeck, watercolor and charcoal on paper. One of my favorite works. I worked on that one when I was living with and caring for my dear grandma. May she rest in peace. And let me show you a lovely oil painting of my best friend Adrian. He passed away a few years ago, 5 years ago. But this was my best friend Adrian. Watercolor on panel. See the textures? See the textures? I like the way the beard turned out and the highlight on the forehead and all that. See that? One of my favorite works. I show that one to you guys all the time because it's one of my favorites. This one here. This is the one I just finished. It's let me feel that and see if that varnish is dry. It was a little sticky this morning. It's starting to feel a little better. But here's a portrait of Christ. It's been nice and varnished so that it has a nice, almost three-dimensional appearance, like you're looking right into it, like stained glass window almost. But it's oil paint on panel. It's a painting of Christ, and this is a commission. This was the last commission I worked on, and I'm now planning on painting a oil portrait of Nick Shirley, because Nick Shirley's an all-American hero. God bless him. So those are a few. You know, I need to organize my room before I show you any more right now. It's a bit of a hassle when everything's in a big ass. I need to organize. It's in a bit of a shambles at the moment. Constantly losing things. So actually I cut my hair really nicely. I think it looks damned good. He's only saying that I didn't cut my hair right because I cut my hair, because I cut my own hair. It's an excuse for him to say, oh, you can't do anything right. And you know, someone who collects dolls, that doesn't mean a damn thing. Some of these dolls, most of these Monster High dolls are investments. I intend to sell them when they become a little more valuable, because nostalgia sells. I actually kind of don't agree with my with my assessment of before. That was a few years ago when I did that. So, yeah, I'm hoping I'll be able to sell them. I don't intend on keeping all of them, but I like to collect dolls. There's nothing wrong with that. My grandma collected dolls. A lot of people collect dolls. There's nothing wrong with that. But of course, you're probably going to try to associate it with something bad because it's something women do. And anything that women do is usually seen as bad. Anything. Just about anything, unless, you know, we're doing what you want us to do. I do whatever the fuck I want. I stream about anything I feel. Yeah, Jesse. I stream about addiction, politics, art, cooking, video games, anything I really feel like talking about, to be honest. And we read the Bible at the end of the stream, too. It really triggers some of the people here. Oh, boy. Yeah, we got so many people around the world watching, or, you know, we should expect to get some morons who think that Trump is as bad as Joe Biden. Dang, girl, you painted that? You are very talented. Thank you, Jessica. Thank you. Joe Nuts dragged our tax dollars into the war in Ukraine. Yeah, he really dragged everything. Everything's a drag after him. All right, guys. We're getting to that point where it's almost midnight. Don't forget to like and subscribe. We're gonna read a little bit of the Bible and end the live stream, okay? I think it's getting to be about that time. I have nothing against gay people. I know it's a big old stereotype that the left really tries to propagate. Oh my gosh, you're all homophobic, this phobic, that phobic, you're all Nazis. All lies. All fucking lies. I support gay people. I support gay marriage. I support trans people. I advocate for common sense, intelligent people like Blair White. She's the type of trans person I stand with. Not the people trying to make it a fad and try to shove it down children's throats who shouldn't be thinking about sex, and trying to wreck women's sports and let people transfer to women's prisons at the drop of a hat because they decided that they're women as soon as they got to prison, and they don't even need a Party City wig. All they got to do is say, I feel like a woman, I guess I'm a woman. I realized when I went to prison what I was missing. Then you look at their record, it's all essay, 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 essay against women. Oh, but the radio silence from the left on that too. Those are the things I'm against. But I support gay people. And trans people, 100%. Just leave the children and leave women's spaces alone. That's all I ever asked. And many people, for that matter, including lots of trans people, because they're making trans people look bad. They're making people actually fatigued and despise trans people, unfortunately, because of their choices. Anyway, we read Proverbs chronologically. This is a good one right here, guys. Psalms chapter 42. Let's just read chapter 42. And we'll read chapter 43 of Psalms, okay? All right. Let's begin. Oh, and I found my glasses. Thank goodness. Thank fucking goodness. All right. Anyone see The Legend of Billie Jean? Someone suggested that movie to me. It's really good and it's free on YouTube. I'd check it out if I were you guys. It's such a good movie. So it's a movie from the 80s, and it really has I've never seen it, but it still made me feel nostalgic even though I was born in 1991. It's really good. You guys should check it out. Anyway, we're going to read Psalms. Chapter 42. Maybe we'll do chapter 40. Read a few chapters, actually. Nah. Actually, no. Chapter 42. As a heart longs for flowing streams, so longs my soul. For thee, O God, my soul thirsts for God, for the living God. When shall I come and behold the face of God? My tears have been my food, day and night, while men say to me continually, where is your God? These things I remember as I pour out my soul. How I went with the throng, how I went with the throng, and led them in procession to the house of God, with glad shouts and songs of thanksgiving, a multitude keeping festival. Why are you cast down, O my soul, and why are you disquieted within me? Hope in God, for I shall again praise him, my help and my God. My soul is cast down within me, therefore I remember thee from the land of Jordan and of Hermon, from Mount Mizar. A deep, deep calls to deep. At the thunder of thy cataracts, all thy waves and thy billows have gone over me. By day the Lord commands his steadfast love, and at night his song is with me, a prayer to the God of my life. I say to God, my rock, why hast thou forgotten me? Why go I mourning because of the oppression of the enemy? As with a deadly wound in my body, my adversaries taunt me, while they say to me continually, where is your God? Why are you cast down, O my soul, and why are you disquieted within me? Hope in God, for I shall again praise him, my help and my God. Chapter 43, Psalms. Vindicate me, O God, and defend my cause against ungodly people. From deceitful and unjust men deliver me. For thou art the God in whom I take refuge. Why hast thou cast me off? Why go I mourning because of the oppression of the enemy? O send out thy light and thy truth. Let them lead me. Let them bring me to thy holy hill and to thy dwelling. Then I will go to the altar of God, to God my exceeding joy, and I will praise thee with the lyre, O God my God. Why are you cast down, O my soul? And why are you disquieted within me? Hope in God, for I shall again praise him, my help and my God. To the choir master, a maskil of the sons of Norah. Here's one. Chapter 44, Psalms. We have heard with our ears, O God, our fathers have told us, what deeds thou didst perform in their days, in the days of old. Thou with thy own hand didst drive out the nations, but them thou didst plant. Thou didst afflict the peoples, but them thou didst set free. For not by their own sword did they win the land, nor did their own arm give them victory, but thy right hand and thy arm, and the light of thy countenance, for thou didst delight in them. Thou art my King and my God, who ordainest victories for Jacob. Through thee we push down our foes, through thy name we tread down our assailants. For not in my bow do I trust, nor can my sword save me. But thou hast saved us from our foes, and hast put to confusion those who hate us. In God we have boasted continually, and we will give thanks to thy name forever. Selah. Yet thou hast cast us off and abased us, and hast not gone out with our armies. Thou hast made us turn back from the foe, and our enemies have gotten spoil. Thou hast made us like sheep for slaughter, and hast scattered us among the nations. Thou hast sold thy people for a trifle, demanding no high price for them. Thou hast made us the taunt of our neighbors, the derision and scorn of those about us. Thou hast made us a byword among the nations, a laughing stock among the peoples. All day long my disgrace is before me, and shame has covered my face, at the words of the taunters and rivalers, at the sight of the enemy and the avenger. All this has come upon us, though we have forgotten thee, or been false to thy covenant. Our heart has not turned back, nor have our steps departed from thy way, that thou shouldest have broken us in the place of jackals, and covered us with deep darkness. If we had forgotten the name of our God, or spread forth our hands to a strange God, would not God discover this? For he knows the secrets of the heart. Nay, for thy sake we are slain all the day long, and accounted as sheep for the slaughter. Rouse yourself, rouse thyself. Why sleepest thou, O Lord? Awake, do not cast us off forever. Why dost thou hide thy face? Why dost thou forget our affliction and oppression? For our soul is bowed down to the dust. Our body cleaves to the ground. Rise up, come to our help. Deliver us from the sake of thy steadfast love. We'll read a few more of these. Which ones here? Let's see. Anyone have a recommendation for a verse before I end the stream? I'm 35 years old, born 1991. Psalms chapter 23. Okay, let's do that then. Psalms chapter 23. Born in 1991. You don't have to believe me. Don't care. Stupid. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. He makes me lie down in green pastures. He leads me beside still waters. He restores my soul. He leads me in paths of righteousness for his name's sake. Even though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I fear no evil, for thou art with me. Thy rod and thy staff, they comfort me. Thou preparest a table before me in the presence of my enemies. Thou anointest my head with oil, my cup overflows. Surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life, and I shall dwell in the house of the Lord forever. Amen. We discuss a lot of things on this channel, Jeff. And this is just what we do at the very end of the stream. Read a few Bible verses just to close the stream and, food for thought or whatever. But for the most part, we talk about addiction and habits and art and video games and cooking and books and fucking A. And politics. Psalms 119? Sure. Sure, we can do that. One more, guys. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Maybe we can get up to 200. I don't know, but maybe we can. 119 Psalms, huh? Thank you very much, Bunny. Appreciate it. Thank you. I was a heroin addict, but Brad. I've been clean for 3.5 years now. I made it. And I'm still kicking. Psalms 119. Okay. It's a bit of a long chapter. That's 5 pages. All right. One more, then, because it's a long one. Me too, girl. Clean date August 12, 2023. Awesome. Good for you, Bunny. You see, we need more people like you on this channel. We prove that we do recover. Methadone? Yeah. That's rough. But you're a strong person, man. We prove that we do recover. That it's not always once a junkie, always a junkie. No, we just need to want something else in life other than that. We have to want something bigger than ourselves. We have to want to live life. We have to choose everything over heroin. It's either heroin or everything. You can't have both. Or, probably the same thing with the methadone. I can only imagine how gripping that would be. I've had friends who were addicted to methadone, and it really is, it's a pretty gripping one. "13 years sober, good for you. Who knows? That is awesome. Congratulations. Subbed and like you're in my prayers. Thank you, Robert. God sent me free from subs in 2019. Happy for you. Thank you, Jared. Can't wait till I'm free from the subs, Just weaning down bit by bit. Gotta be safe with that stuff. It's not like heroin where you can just quit cold turkey. It's, you gotta wean down from it because you could harm yourself permanently. Okay, we're gonna read that one chapter though, because it's a long chapter, okay? Considering. "Blessed are those whose way is blameless, who walk in the law of the Lord. Blessed are those who keep his testimonies, who seek him with their whole heart, who also do no wrong, but walk in his ways. Thou hast commanded thy precepts to be kept diligently. Oh, that my ways may be steadfast in keeping thy statutes. Then I shall be put to shame. Then I shall be put to shame, having my eyes fixed on all thy commandments. I will praise thee with an upright heart. When I learn thy righteous ordinances, I will observe thy statutes. O forsake me not utterly. How can a young man keep his way pure? By guarding it according to thy word. With my whole heart I seek thee. Let me not wander from thy commandments. I have laid up thy word in my heart, that I might not sin against thee. Blessed be thou, O Lord, teach me thy statutes. With my lips I declare all the ordinances of thy mouth. In the way of thy testimonies I delight, as much as in all riches. I will meditate on thy precepts. Meditate, not medicate. I will meditate on thy precepts and fix my eyes on thy ways. I will delight in thy statutes. I will not forget thy word. Deal bountifully with thy servant, that I may live and observe thy word. Open my eyes, that I may behold wondrous things out of thy law. I am a sojourner on earth. I have a feeling I'm pronouncing that wrong. Hide not thy commandments from me. My soul is consumed with longing for thy ordinances at all times. Thou dost rebuke the insolent, accursed ones, who wander from thy commandments. Take away from me their scorn and contempt, for I have kept thy testimonies. Even though princes sit plotting against me, thy servant will meditate on thy statutes. Thy testimonies are my delight. They are my counselors. My soul cleaves... there goes the light. Just have that one for now. My bad. Since we're almost done, we're just going to do it this way, okay? My soul cleaves to the dust. Revive me according to thy word. When I told of my ways, thou didst answer me. Teach me thy statutes. Make me understand the way of thy precepts, and I will meditate on thy wondrous works. My soul melts away for sorrow. Strengthen me according to thy word. Put false ways far from me, and graciously teach me thy law. I have chosen the way of faithfulness. I set thy ordinances before me. I cleave to thy testimonies, O Lord. Let me not be put to shame. I will run in the way of thy commandments, when thou enlargest my understanding. Teach me, O Lord, the way of thy statutes, and I will keep it to the end. Give me understanding, that I may keep thy law, and observe it with my whole heart. Lead me in the path of thy commandments, for I delight in it. Incline my heart to thy testimonies, Incline my heart to thy testimonies, and not to gain. Turn my eyes from looking at vanities, and give me life in thy ways. Confirm to thy servant thy promise, which is for those who fear thee. Turn away the reproach which I dread, for thy ordinances are good. Behold, I long for thy precepts, and thy righteousness give me life. Let thy steadfast love come to me, O Lord, thy salvation according to thy promise. Then shall I have an answer for those who taunt me, for I trust in thy word. And take not the word of truth utterly out of my mouth, for my hope is in thy ordinances. I will keep thy law continually, forever and ever, and I shall walk at liberty, for I have sought thy precepts. I will also speak of thy testimonies before kings, and shall not be put to shame.
for I find my delight in thy commandments, which I love. I revere thy commandments, which I love, and I will meditate on thy statutes. Remember thy word to thy servant, in which thou hast made me hope. This is my comfort in my affliction, that thy promise gives me life. Godless men utterly deride me, but I do not turn away from thy law. When I think of thy ordinances from of old, I take comfort, O Lord. Hot indignation seizes me because of the wicked, who forsake thy law. Thy statutes have been my songs in the house of my pilgrimage. I remember thy name in the night, O Lord, and keep thy law. This blessing has fallen to me, that I have kept thy precepts. The Lord is my portion. I promise to keep thy words. I entreat thy favor with all my heart. Be gracious to me according to thy promise. When I think of thy ways, I turn my feet to my testimonies, to thy testimonies. I hasten and do not delay to keep thy commandments. Though the cords of the wicked ensnare me, I do not forget thy law. At midnight I rise to praise thee, because of thy righteous ordinances. I am a companion of all who fear thee, of those who keep thy precepts. The earth, O Lord, is full of thy steadfast love. Teach me thy statutes. Thou hast dealt well with thy servant, O Lord, according to the word. Teach me good judgment and knowledge, for I believe in thy commandments. Because I was afflicted, I went astray, but now I keep thy word. Thou art good and dost good. Teach me thy statutes. The godless besmear me with lies. The godless besmear me with lies. But with my whole heart I keep thy precepts. Their heart is gross like fat, but I delight in thy law. Thy heart is gross like fat, but I delight in thy law. It is good for me that I was afflicted, that I might learn thy statutes. The law of thy mouth is better to me than thousands of gold and silver pieces. Thy hands have made and fashioned me. Give me understanding, that I may learn thy commandments. Those who fear thee shall see me and rejoice, because I have hoped in thy word. I know, O Lord, that thy judgments are right, and that in faithfulness thou hast afflicted me. Let thy steadfast love be ready to comfort me, according to thy promise to thy servant. Let thy mercy come to me, and I may never live. Let thy mercy come to me, that I may live. For the law is my delight. Let the godless be put to shame, because they have subverted me with guile. As for me, I will meditate on thy precepts. Let those who fear thee turn to me, that they may know thy testimonies. May my heart be blameless in thy statutes, that I may not be put to shame. My soul languishes for thy salvation. I hope in thy word. My eyes fail with watching for thy promise. I ask, when wilt thou comfort me? For I have become like a wineskin in the smoke. Yet I have not forgotten thy statutes. How long must thy servant endure? When wilt thou judge those who persecute me? Godless men have dug pitfalls for me, men who do not conform to thy law. All thy commandments are sure. They persecute me with falsehood. Help me. They have almost made an end of me on earth, but I have not forsaken thy precepts. In thy steadfast love, spare my life, that I may keep the testimonies of thy mouth. Forever, O Lord, thy word is firmly fixed in the heavens. Thy faithfulness endures to all generations. Thou hast established the earth, and it stands fast. By thy appointment they stand this day. For all things are thy servants. If thy law had not been my delight, I should have perished in my affliction. I will never forget thy precepts, for by them thou hast given me life. I am thine, save me. For I have sought thy precepts. The wicked lie in wait to destroy me. But I consider thy testimonies. I have seen a limit to all perfection, but thy commandment is exceedingly broad. Oh, how I love thy law! It is my meditation all the day. Thy commandment makes me wiser than my enemies, for it is ever with me. I have more understanding than all my teachers, for my testimonies are my meditation. I understand more than the aged, for I keep thy precepts. I hold back my feet from every evil way, in order to keep thy word. I do not turn aside from thy ordinances, for thou hast taught me. How sweet are thy words to my taste, sweeter than honey to my mouth. Through thy precepts I get understanding. Therefore I hate every false way. Thy word is a lamp to my feet and a light to my path. I have sworn an oath and confirmed it, to observe thy righteous ordinances. I am sorely afflicted. Give me life, O Lord, according to thy word. Accept my offerings of praise, O Lord, and teach me thy ordinances. I hold my life in my hand continually, but I do not forget thy law. The wicked have laid a snare for me, but I do not stray from thy precepts. Thy testimonies are my heritage forever. Yeah, they are the joy of my heart. I incline my heart to perform thy statutes forever to the end. I hate double-minded men, but I love thy law. Thou art my hiding place and my shield. I hope in thy word. Depart from me, you evildoers, that I may keep the commandments of my God. I like that part, all that. I hate double-minded men. I hate double-minded men, but I love thy law. Thou art my hiding place and my shield. I hope in thy word. Depart from me, you evildoers, that I may keep the commandments of my God. Uphold me according to thy promise, that I may live, and let me not be put to shame in my hope. Hold me up, that I may be safe, and have regard for thy statutes continually. Thou dost spurn all who go astray from thy statutes. Yeah, their cunning is in vain. All the wicked of the earth thou dost count as dross. Therefore, I love thy testimonies. My flesh trembles for fear of thee, and I am afraid of thy commandments. I have done what is just and right. Do not leave me to my oppressors. Be surety for thy servant for good. Let not the godless oppress me. My eyes fail with watching for thy salvation and for the fulfillment of thy righteous promise. Deal with thy servant according to thy steadfast love, and teach me thy statutes. I am thy servant. Give me understanding, that I may know thy testimonies. It is time for the Lord to act. Did I skip a page? No, I didn't. It is time for the Lord to act. I lost my place, sorry. For thy law has been broken. Therefore I love thy commandments above gold, above fine gold. Therefore I direct my steps by all thy precepts. I hate every false way. Thy testimonies are wonderful. Therefore my soul keeps them. The unfolding of thy words gives light. It imparts understanding to the simple. With open mouth I pant, because I long for thy commandments. Turn to me and be gracious to me, as is thy wont toward those who love thy name. Keep steady my steps according to thy promise, and let no iniquity get dominion over me. Redeem me from man's oppression, that I may keep thy precepts. Make thy face shine upon thy servant, and teach me thy statutes. My eyes shed streams of tears, because men do not keep thy law. Righteous art thou, O Lord, and right are thy judgments. Thou hast appointed thy testimonies in righteousness, and in all faithfulness my zeal consumes me. Because my foes forget thy words, thy promise is well tried, and thy servant loves it. I am small and despised, yet I do not forget thy precepts. Thy righteousness is righteous forever, and thy law is true. Trouble and anguish have come upon me, but thy commandments are my delight. Thy testimonies are righteous forever. Give me understanding that I may live. With my whole heart I cry, answer me, O Lord. I will keep thy statutes. I cry to thee, save me, that I may observe thy testimonies. I rise before dawn and cry for help. I hope in thy words. My eyes are awake before the watches of the night, that I may meditate upon thy promise. Hear my voice in thy steadfast love, O Lord, and thy justice preserve my life. They draw near who persecute me with evil purpose. They are far from thy law, but thou art near, O Lord, and all thy commandments are true. Long have I known from thy testimonies that thou hast founded them forever. Look on my affliction and deliver me, for I do not forget thy law. Plead my cause and redeem me. Give me life according to thy promise. Salvation is far from the wicked, for they do not seek thy statutes. Great in thy mercy, O Lord. Give me life according to thy justice. Many are my persecutors and my adversaries, but I do not swerve from thy testimonies. I look at the faithless with disgust, because they do not keep thy commandments. Consider how I love thy precepts. Preserve my life according to thy steadfast love. The sum of thy word is truth, and every one of thy righteous ordinances endures forever. Princes persecute me without cause, but my heart stands in awe of thy words. I rejoice at thy word, like one who finds great spoil. I hate and abhor falsehood, but I love thy law. 7 times a day I praise thee for thy righteous ordinances. Great peace have those who love thy law. Nothing can make them stumble. I hope for thy salvation, O Lord, and I do thy commandments. My soul keeps thy testimonies. I love them exceedingly. I keep thy precepts and testimonies, for all my ways are before thee. Let my cry come before thee, O Lord. Give me understanding according to thy word. Let my supplication come before thee. Deliver me according to thy word. My lips will pour forth praise, that thou dost teach me thy statutes. My tongue will sing of thy word, for all thy commandments are right. Let thy hand be ready to help me, for I have chosen thy precepts. I long for thy salvation, O Lord. I long for thy salvation, O Lord, and thy law is my delight. Let me live that I may praise thee, and let thy ordinances help me. I have gone astray like a lost sheep. Seek thy servant, for I do not forget thy commandments. Amen. That was a long one. Okay, I'm going to crack my back. Oh, that felt good. Should have held up a microphone to that. Let's see. Do the other side. Listen. Oh, man. That one didn't work. You heard that? Oh, man, that's so satisfying. Especially first thing in the morning. It's like from it's like every single ligament of my spine goes, and I hardly have to turn or twist at all. It's just a very gentle little, just like shift. Oh, feels so damn good. So satisfying. Thank you, Anne. You're most welcome, Mob. My pleasure. Brad, I very much doubt that. For I reckon that the sufferings of this present time are not worthy to be compared with the glory which shall be revealed. Absolutely. Absolutely. I've got to go outside now and clean my car. Someone came around and pissed on my tires. I'm sorry, Brad. That sucks. People suck, man. Some people just want to watch the world burn. You know, they're so bored and so upset about their lives that they gotta go try to disrupt someone else's life. It's very sad. People, man. I started Adderall 2 weeks ago, but I only take it during the day. I should look that up and ask about it. I'm hesitant to start new meds unless I've... Honestly, I think I really... I don't... I think what I need is to meet people, meet new people, get in, you know, and start my own family and all that. That would make me a happier person, I think. Honestly. I'd like to have at least one kid one of these days. But, yeah, we'll see. At least I'm getting out and, you know, joining groups or a group and hopefully meeting people. Hopefully there'll be some people around my age, you know. Most of my friends are over 50. Tired of being lonely in that sense, you know? My dog helps, but, you know, I'm 35, you know? It's either soon or never when it comes to having kids. I mean, I can always have a partner, but, like, I might never be able to have a kid someday if I'm not, you know, if I'm not proactive and all that. But I'd like to be far away from my Suboxone before any of that too, which I'm glad I'm weaning down significantly. By the way, we're almost at 200 likes, guys. Yo, I only started live streaming mid-January this year. There were times when a live stream was so successful that I would look at the stats at the end and it would show me 100 plus new subscribers. I mean, that's pretty good for someone who's just starting this stuff, you know? So I have a lot of hope in this. You know, even 50's a lot. I'm 35 too. Yeah, that's a good age. Yep, I'm 35. I'm 35. Yeah, you're a great person and you deserve it. Thank you, King James. Yeah, I mean, humans are meant to connect and, you know, start families, you know, pass the torch on to the next generation. And I know a lot of millennials have trouble with that concept. Only as old as we feel and think, indeed. You know, I mean, one can stay pretty young on a cellular level if they take care of themselves, you know, if they don't eat a lot of sugar, if they try to not be stressed all the time, if they exercise and walk a lot. People can stay looking pretty young for a long time. How many milligrams of sub do I take? They had me on 3 at first. Now I take between half of one and just one. So like between 4 and 8 milligrams. You pass the torch on to the next generation, they will burn themselves. I mean, don't we all burn ourselves from time to time making mistakes in order to learn and gain wisdom? And I guess that's kind of the point. It's not good to, let your kid do anything, but it's also not good to helicopter them either. In fact, I think being a helicopter parent can be even more detrimental to their growth. It can make them afraid. It can make it so they don't know what to do, and so they start making even worse mistakes than they would otherwise. You know, you hear about that stereotype of children who are heavily controlled by their parents being more rebellious than just your average kids. You hear, a lot of Catholic kids deal with a lot of guilt tripping and stuff, and a lot of those kids become very rebellious too. It's almost stereotypical, like Catholic school kids being rebellious. I was never really rebellious when I was a kid. I was a bit of a late bloomer, but my decision to accept the heroin when someone offered it to me wasn't to be rebellious. It was nothing like that. It had nothing to do with anybody. It was a combination of curiosity and wanting to escape my mind, and having had enough of just I moved like 10 times over the course of the past 5 years, dealt with an abusive relationship. Grandma died. Like, there were a lot of things happening right before I used heroin. There's always a story behind everybody's decision. It's like not everything that happens to you is your fault, but you always have a choice. But you're responsible for some things, like how you respond to it, or but none of us are perfect, and some of us, we do have weak moments. So you shouldn't beat yourself up too much for something like that. Just try to I'm trying to turn it around and use it as a source for good, by trying to encourage and help other people to get clean or not go near that stuff. Best wishes. Thank you, Sopa. You're God's child, and He was with you all, and He is with all of you at that moment. Thank you. I agree. I rebelled and got into all kinds of religions and New Ageism, a lot of ketamine, like a lot, DMT, LSD, and Jesus came and saved me. Well, God bless you, Jared. I'm proud of you. That's very good. Very good. All right, guys. Well, we're gonna end the live stream. It's been a good one. So thank you very much, Mez. Thank you, Jared. Thank you, Alex. Thank you, Mob. Take care as well. Thank you, Claymore. Ooh, I love that anime. That's a good anime, Claymore. I haven't seen that anime in like 16 years, man. That was such a good anime. Thank you, Ripa. It's very unique. Thank you, Cassius. Thank you, Sopa. Thank you, Mob. Thank you, Alex. Thank you, King James. Thank you, Freedom Fart. Oh, boy. Thank you, Ms. Thank you, Swanky Sasquatch. I like your name, by the way. A lot of people think I'm a little younger than I am. Thank you, Robert Belknap. Thank you, Biotetric. Thank you. Okay, just getting past the trolls. Thank you, Kayla. Thank you, Finesse and Press. Thank you, Baker. Thank you, Medieval Method. Thank you, Chow. Thank you. Oh boy. Man, you got some real nasties. Thank you.
everybody. Thank you, Kayla. I'm probably repeating some of these names, but I genuinely mean it. Thank you. Got some real pieces of work in the chat, though. Darrogger. Thank you, Darrogger. I'm glad you enjoyed that. Thank you, Bunny Blue Eyes. Amen. Hope you all have a good night, okay? All right. Peace out. See you tomorrow, okay? Much love. Bye-bye. All right. Much love. Thank you. Thank you, Alex McQueens. Thank you very much. Thank you, Mez. Thank you, Swanky Sasquatch. Thank you, Essentia. And thank you, Casius. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Seven Sisters. And everybody here who I've mentioned and haven't mentioned, and I hope you all have a great night. Sweet dreams. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.